In this video, you'll learn the very best way to organize and plan your practice schedule so that you get maximum results for the time you invest with zero overwhelm. Hi, this is Simon Candy from Acoustic Guitar Lessons Online.net, and overwhelm is the #1 progress killer when it comes to your guitar playing. Now, I'm sure that if you've played guitar even just for a little while, you can relate to the feeling of that overwhelm. There's so much to be across. How do you practice everything? How do you keep tabs on all the things you got to do to become the guitar player you want to be? Well, that is what we're going to tackle in today's video. Okay, so to do this, it's really important that when you practice, you organize the things you practice into two columns, if you like, categories and items. That's the first step. The second step is then to rotate between these categories and items in a very strategic way, not randomly, not just any old how, but a very strategic way to rotate between these to really maximize the results you get with your playing and to not feel overwhelmed at all, because you know you're covering all the areas that you need to become the guitar player that you want to be. So let's get into it. I want to break this down for you. It's really cool. It's going to save you heaps of time, heaps of frustration, get rid of all that overwhelm and give you results with your guitar playing. Okay, so categories versus items. This is really important to understand first. There's only so many categories across your guitar playing. I mean, guitar playing overall, there's only so many categories. What you want to be able to do with your guitar playing, whatever that might be, it's not going to be everything, right? You're not going to want to be a classical guitarist plus a flamenco guitarist plus heavy metal plus acoustic plus finger picking plus, you're not going to want to, click your fingers, you could do that, that'd be fantastic, but that's not realistic. You're going to have some things that you want to do though. Main things, okay? Categories. We'll go through this in detail in a moment, but there's categories, right? They're finite. There's only so many of them. Items are the things you work on in that category, okay? There's thousands of those. Over your guitar playing life, you're going to end up with thousands of items. And if you can't categorize them, you can't put them into groups that, the relatable groups, then it will feel like things are everywhere and it will be very overwhelming, confusing, and you won't have any real structure to what you're doing. So categories first, items second. Items go into the categories. Okay, but let's get a little bit more concrete with this so that I can really make sure you understand what I'm talking about. So let's say that you're working on the following 4 categories of your guitar playing. Let's say it's finger picking, music theory, rhythm guitar, lead guitar. Notice that these are all very broad, okay? That's what a category is. Then you get more specific with the items, okay, that help you in that particular category. Okay, so again, finger picking, music theory, rhythm guitar, lead guitar. There's your 4 categories. You might have 3, you might have 5. This is fine. They may be completely different to the ones I'm using here. That's also fine, okay? Just focus on the principle here, the concept, okay? And then you can inject your own stuff. Let's look at each of those categories and have some items that we might work on under each of those categories. So if we're looking at finger picking, we might work on technique, patterns, pieces, concepts. Let's say music theory, we might work on keys, particular keys, chords, modes, modulation, changing key. Rhythm guitar, well, we might work with our strumming, our chordal picking, extensions, chord changes. And with lead guitar, well, we might work on technique, phrasing, riffs, improvising. What you saw there is the top layer is the category, the broader area of your guitar playing, and then underneath are very specific things that you're working on related to that category that you need to work on to make ground, move the needle, if you like, in that particular category. So if we were to put that into a bit of a mind map, which I find really helps sort of get things organized, if you look at that there, you'll see that we've got our guitar practice, and then stemming from that are 4 categories: finger picking, rhythm guitar, lead guitar, and music theory, and then spreading out from each of those categories are 4 items. You might have more than 4 items, you might have less than 4 items. This is fine, okay? Again, focus on the principle here, that's the main thing. Okay, but this mind map helps you see see it all together, okay? Just to show you how I want you to think about it. So far we're just organizing our thoughts, if you like, and even just doing that, I can't tell you how that gets rid of overwhelm. It's the best thing you can do is put pen to paper or your fingers onto the keyboard and just write down, get it out of your head. What do you want to practice? What are the key areas? Think big first. What are the key big areas you want to work on with your guitar playing? Okay, what do I need to do in order to make progress in those areas? They become the items, all right, that you're practicing in that particular area of your playing. Sort it out into a little bit of a mind map or whatever makes sense for you. And already, without even picking up the guitar, you'll find your overwhelm has really been decreased dramatically. Okay, but where to from here? How do we organize this now into a practice schedule that's effective? Well, that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so the key is rotation on a number of levels. So we've got our categories, we've got our items. Now it's all about rotation. So if we were to set up our schedule for, let's say, a 4-day repeating schedule. Okay, so we're going to rotate over a 4-day period. You might make it 3 days, 2 days, 6 days, 8 days. It doesn't matter. Rotation is the key concept here. Okay, so I'm going to set up a 4-day rotating schedule here as an example. So on day 1, the categories we're going to rotate between will be finger picking, rhythm guitar, and lead guitar. So notice here that there is no music theory because we don't necessarily have to cover every category every day. That's the thing about rotating. You won't do everything every day, but over a 4-day or 3-day or 8-day period, you will cover each base enough. Okay, just not every day. So let's say then on day 2, you then rotate through music theory, rhythm guitar, and finger picking. They're going to be the 3 categories you cover on day 2. So some cross over from day 1 and some don't. We've got the addition of music theory here. We've taken out lead guitar for day 2 of our practice schedule. Day 3, finger picking, music theory, lead guitar. Lead guitar comes back, rhythm guitar sits out. Okay, and day 4, rhythm guitar, music theory, lead guitar. Okay, so if we look at those 4 days just all together here now, notice how each one I've color coded here, as you can see in these slides, so you can see quite clearly how often a particular category appears. So you can see that there's a pretty even spread. Now, if you wanted to work more on finger picking for a particular reason, then work more on finger picking. That's fine. You don't have to evenly divide this. That's what I'm doing here just to keep it simple, but you don't necessarily have to. The key again is just that you're rotating through the categories as you go here. Now, let's talk about the items because, of course, okay, day 1's finger picking, rhythm guitar, lead guitar. What are we going to rotate through? Well, on day 1 with finger picking, I'm going to work on my patterns. With rhythm guitar, I'm going to work on some chord extensions. With lead guitar, I'm going to work on some phrasing. That's day 1, okay, of my schedule. If I go to day 2, where I have music theory, rhythm guitar, and finger picking, I'm going to work on keys for music theory. I'm going to work on strumming for rhythm guitar, and I'm going to work on some technique for my finger picking. Okay, notice day 1 with finger picking, I was working on patterns. Or day 2, I could continue with patterns, but I'm going to work with finger picking technique. Again, rotating, okay? But still got structure to what we're doing here, working on finger picking in that case for that part of my practice. Day 3 of our rotating schedule here, patterns for finger picking again, because we're working on finger picking in day 3, chords for music theory, and technique for lead guitar. And day 4, well, I'm going to work on some strumming for my rhythm guitar category. Music theory pops up again, so I'll work on some modes. And lead guitar, I'm going to do some improvising. So here we've also got the items rotating, not just the categories, across our 4-day practice schedule. This may possibly seem a little confusing at first, but believe me, it's worth investing the time to practice correctly. I can't tell you how much I could have saved myself if I'd done this earlier on in my playing. I practiced a lot, I played a lot, but I certainly didn't have this level of structure to my playing, my practice. But it's all about rotation. First off, it's organisation, right? Organising the categories. What are you going to work on? That'll change over time. You'll rotate those in and out of your schedule too. What are the items of those categories that are current to my playing right now? Not every possible item, that'd be almost endless, but what's current to where I'm at with that particular category? With finger picking, I'm really working on my patterns and technique, for example. Or with my lead guitar, I'm really focusing on improvisation and the modal patterns. Okay, that's going to feature as items under lead guitar. Okay, so you organise all that in your mind, get that down on paper, and then you go, right, let me plot this into a rotating schedule, 2-day, 3-day, 4-day as I did, 7-day, whatever you want. And let's rotate across the days, both the categories that I work in and the items within those categories. That is the way you set up a really killer practice schedule where you will get really great results. you'll feel on top of things, you'll get great results for even half the time that you're probably putting into your guitar playing right now. Just picking it up and playing and practicing, yeah, okay, that's great. That's step one. But, you know, perfect practice, or practice makes perfect, is not really what it's about. It's perfect practice makes perfect, right? The better we get at practicing, the better we'll get at practicing, if that makes sense. Well, I'm confusing myself. But hopefully you get my point, okay? So setting up your practice schedule in this way, check those slides, check the webpage linked in the top comment on this video. Click on that link, it'll take you to a webpage on my website. I'll have this laid out for you so you can look over it, get your head around it. You can make tweaks to it as you like. You know, however many items you work on, how many categories you work with, the rotation, all that, that's up to you as to what works best for you with what you're doing with your playing right now and time you have and so forth. Think in principle, think in concept, not the exact example I've given you there, but I did want to give you something concrete so you could understand it hopefully a little bit better. Okay, so comment, let me know below how you go with this, and if you've got any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. But that's a really cool way, and the way that I set up my practice schedule when I'm practicing my guitar playing. If you would like help with your finger picking, the kind of help that gets you results in the most direct, efficient, fun way possible, then check out the Ultimate Fingerpicking Guitar course, a complete system for fingerpicking acoustic guitar, so simple even a beginner can learn it. I've carefully designed this course to do all the heavy lifting for you, as far as knowing exactly what to do, how to do it, and when to do it in regard to mastering the art of fingerpicking guitar. All you have to do is follow the pathway I've laid out for you. In the Ultimate Fingerpicking Guitar course, you will learn and master all the key concepts, methods, strategies, and techniques needed for fingerpicking, so you'll never put your guitar down in frustration again, thinking, how the hell do I do this? You will also discover the exact order in which to do things, avoiding the all too common mistakes most people make when learning to fingerpick guitar, saving you precious time and frustration. Have your hand held every step of the way with the Ultimate Fingerpicking Guitar course. It will take you from wherever you are at right now with your fingerpicking to where you would like to be, enjoying every part of the process along the way. So click the link in the description below the video and check out the Ultimate Fingerpicking Guitar course. Let me know in the comments section what acoustic guitar topics you'd like to see covered in future videos. I'm all ears and I would love to hear your suggestions. I read every comment, so let me know what you would like to see. If you like this video, then hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and of course don't forget to hit the all-important notification bell button so YouTube can tell you when I've released a new video. This is Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net. As always, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for watching this video, and I really look forward to seeing you in the next video.